Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Nice shirt, Dave. Don Knuth asked me in 2013 if I could help solve this problem. If you restrict all the cells of an initial pattern to the lower left quadrant of the plane, what's the earliest time that you can set cells outside that? And so he asked me this in 2013. I didn't have any idea. He asked me again in 2022. Again, no clue. Finally, in January, he said, hey, I want to know the answer to this. He's got it listed as his most important open game of life problem. So, okay, we'll take a look at it. So let's see, what are we talking about? Lower left quadrant, we're going to mark all those cells at 0 because they can be alive at the very first, at the initial generation. And then after one step, you need 3 neighbor cells to be on. So we go ahead and mark all those with a 1. That's the earliest time they might be alive. And then we continue that with 2 and 3. There's a little funny thing happening here with 3 because it looks like we can actually turn this cell on in generation 3, but we can't. It has to wait until 4, and I'll let you guys figure that out, why that is. So we continue this, and you end up with a grid like this. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to find some pattern that satisfies, for each of these cells, satisfies that earliest birth time. Is that possible? So I'm going to separate this grid into 3 different areas according to the equal numbers. So according to contours. So in the R section, all the numbers that are equal are connected by rook moves. In the K part, all the numbers that are equal are connected by knight moves. And in the B part, all the numbers that are equal are connected by bishop moves. So those are the names we're going to use. So how do we do this? Well, I tried manual constructions, but I mean, I'm no Dave Green. I couldn't figure out how to get that to work. We tried SAT solvers. We could do some very small cases, but we couldn't get, any of the bigger cases. Finally, I just threw brute force at it. As Bill Cheswick says, more brute force. And that worked surprisingly well. And a little bit of genetic algorithms to mutate and see what we could do. And let me tell you the results of what we have. So in region R, it's actually pretty easy. For region R, if we just start with a straight vertical line of cells, in the next generation, it's going to set all of those 1s in that area. And then it's going to move until it gets to the top of the triangle. And it's always going to set the cells in the earliest birth time. So really, region R is really easy to do. And for region K, well, what we can do is we can take that same pattern, but we can add some cells to the left of it. And what these cells to the left of it are going to do is it's going to make it so that when the pattern gets to the apex of the triangle, it generates a spaceship that then moves along to the right, creating these cells in the K region with the earliest birth times. So that lets us take care of part of the K region. But this is only one line. It turns out we can take this same pattern and extend it on the left and right a little bit and get the same sort of behavior. So now we have moved this vertical line down in the K region a little bit. So using this idea and various riffs on it, with some sporadic solutions near the origin, we can cover the entire K region. So now we know for the R region and for the K region, we can always satisfy Knuth's lower bound on the earliest birth times. What about octant B? Octant B is a little more troubling. For the diagonal, we can actually use a glider. This is going to step every 4 generations. It's going to move up 1 cell. So this is going to give us the diagonal. With some search and some randomness, we can get a pattern like this. It looks kind of ugly, but when we run it, what happens is we get a spaceship moving along, or the front of a spaceship moving along, but the pattern is sort of chaotic behind it, and eventually that chaos catches up with the leading edge, kills the spaceship, and sort of gives us a glider popping off. So this lets us set a bunch of cells off the diagonal. And we can do a similar thing to get cells off the axes, off the 2 orthogonal axes. So this is going to run. We're going to suddenly do a left turn, and then we're going to do a right turn. The little blue marking says these are places where I've actually achieved the minimum BERT time. Okay. But unfortunately, we don't actually have a general solution for the B region. We've covered a lot of the space. We knew all of these cells. We've actually built a pattern that gives us the minimum BERT time. So that's a success. But I need some help for these big triangular regions in here. Specifically, I have sporadic solutions that are kind of ugly, but they work for all the points off the diagonal within 54 units and all the points off the axis within 14 units. The earliest point that I'm missing is 1570, which should become alive at generation 170, but I haven't been able to make that happen. So somebody out there, help me figure this out. And thank you so much for Chris Rout for LifeViewer making these slides work. That's it.